Hello and welcome to Needing a Meeting. My name is Carol. I will be your host today. How's everybody doing? I see y'all are having a meeting without me. The chat goes so far back that I can't see it all. Hello, CK, Sandy Wandy, Lumen, welcome. Laura, welcome. Deaudrey Gore, welcome. Sandy Wandy, Russ Hampton, hello, welcome. Allison, Millie, Ben, Bent.
Bent. I've been called everything.
A lot of new people. Thank you so much. Welcome. Too many names to name at this point. The chat's going so fast, I can't.
You know, Carol, there was something I've been meaning to ask you.
All righty then.
When I've been doing a lot of reading, and I found my old notes and things like that. And when you were in, I don't know how open you are. I guess you're open to talking about
I'm
this.
an open book.
Yeah.
I can keep everybody else's secrets, but I don't like to have any of my own.
When you were in the cult, did you find they tended to use connection and openness in that you were expected to communicate all your deepest secrets to them, the hierarchy, but they never reciprocated back?
I don't think that there was much asked of us in the way of, expose your deepest secrets.
Okay.
The pastor kind of fancied himself a prophet, and so he could
Oh,
look into your life and tell you what was going on. I don't know. I
oh,
don't know what to think about it. I don't know what to make of it,
sure.
but so that's kind of how that was.
Mm.
And of course, they didn't share their secrets because if they did,
Did you find that you had open connection there?
interesting
Real,
question.
real connection. I mean, not just
No, no way. Because I mean, it's authoritarian.
sure.
You've got a hierarchy, and you submit to a chain of authority.
Okay.
You know,
When you were in the middle of it, do you think? I mean, when you were at your peak, if somebody tried to talk you out of it, just came full bore, do you think you would recoil and go deeper in, or do you think you would have listened?
mm,
If somebody had come up to you and said, "This person is false," you know, this person's FOS. I don't mean full of stuff. Um, if they had just come out full bore, you think it would have had the same effect as somebody slowly wanting you or slowly trying to get you to say, um, like, change your focus slightly, like, instead of focusing all your time here, or maybe not that, wanting to go out to like a park with you,
oh no, oh
wanting,
no.
suggesting that maybe um what that maybe doing planting small seeds, like it's okay to disagree and things like that. Do you think
Oh God, no.
really?
Oh God, no.
Okay.
Because he's the man of God,
Sure.
and he's got his people that are closest to him, and you may as well submit to them like you do him. And he is going straight from the Bible.
Mm,
And so it is the absolute word of God because it's coming from the mouthpiece of God.
okay.
Oh yeah.
So
That
so
was
you
that was how that went.
so that would have made you recoil then, probably, and rush right to him
Well,
more.
I mean, I was attracted to that, I mean, it was kind
Mhm.
of a, you know, an unapologetic
Sure.
way of approaching it.
Mhm.
And I had studied the Bible enough to know that he was absolutely, he knew the Bible as well as anybody could, you
Sure.
know, and I admired that. I
Mm,
did. I mean, I wouldn't have been there 10 years if there weren't some things that I admired
sure. Oh
about
yeah.
him, and like I said, that whole unapologetic, like he's a truth speaker, comes across as truth speaker, and and he has just enough, he can see just enough, I guess, to, he's speaking to different people as they're sitting there, and you're going, I mean, it's quite a show. I mean, I don't even.
Do you think he did some of what? What was that guy's name? John Edwards, where he's getting people reading.
Yeah, yeah, he did that. He was doing some of that.
Okay.
Mhm. Yeah,
Okay, that explains a lot, yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, 'cause a
you
little bit
know?
of that sprinkled in, if you're a true believer, even halfway in, you see that, you'll tend to turn your thinking centers off anyway, and you'll wanna be
Sure.
open, and especially with a new group, you wanna have connection and
Yeah. And it was like a 3 or 4-hour service, 3 nights a week,
mhm,
unless we were having revival with somebody that has shown up from out of town, and then it'll be every week for a week or 2 weeks,
mhm,
and so a lot of what they keep you in is sleep deprivation. You've got a couple of days to catch up on your sleep after getting home from church at 3 in the morning, 2
sure.
and 3 in the morning. Yeah, because I mean,
I
I
didn't
had a
realize it was that late when you were getting home.
because
Oh my.
I mean, he would preach for 3 or 4 hours, and then, we'd have to clean up and,
Okay.
get the
Okay.
church ready for the next go round. And,
Oh,
yeah, so it was just we were like a nomadic little tribe, we'd all go to our jobs and then come back and meet, and it really, you really felt like he was speaking by the Spirit, and that he was bringing us all in, and we were all of one mind. I mean, it seemed all very biblical. And
mhm.
even now, I mean, if I were as strong into it as I was at that time, I mean, like I said, I wanted something intense because I was an intense person, and I'm still am, I hope, I think. But so I liked the intensity,
Mhm.
and I liked the exclusivity. He would run people off, if they wouldn't, if they were not, if they were looking at him with a defiant look on their face, he would preach at them and preach at them and preach at them until he'd end up in their face, kicking them out, or,
Wow.
yeah. You know, a lot of the anger, it came across as righteous indignation, at how
Mhm.
by the kingdom of God kind of thing. And so it was, I've said this before, but it was he was in a lot of ways very similar to my brother, except his rage wouldn't be just so intensely crazy that it was, "Oh my god, we're all gonna die," kind of thing. It was controlled.
Mm,
And so and for me, it was a little bit of a psychodrama in a controlled environment where I could, kinda work out all those feelings that I went through as a little kid, growing up with a raging maniac brother, you know, and, so there was a lot of personal things that I was working out there, and they
sure.
got and I was working, on myself. I was working at things, and, so, yeah.
Well, thank you for that. Yeah, that was one of the things I was noticing, is that oftentimes we because our it's easier to look at somebody else and relate to them than it is to figure it out for ourselves, because we're so full of our own perceptions, and we twist things so easily.
Oh, yeah.
I really wanted, and I realized my cult experience was really low key. It was like a bad girlfriend, you know. It's like, well, okay, I'll try this for a little while, but yeah, you bore me, and oh, you just don't love me anymore. That's right, that kind of thing. Um, Okay, well, thank you for that. I didn't mean to off track you. I was just
No, no,
I
no
didn't
off track at all. I didn't know what I was going to talk about today. I just got out of the garden.
I was just meaning to ask you that
Oh,
for so long, and I wanted to get it out while it was still in my thick wooden head.
Hello, Captain
no.
Tommy Scoble. Welcome to
Uh-oh.
Needing a Meeting.
Hey, how are you?
Good. How are you doing?
I'm doing good.
It's really good to
I'm
see
happy to
you.
be here.
Right on.
Happy
So
to
I
have
don't
you
know,
here.
I don't know how much of that you caught, but I didn't know if you knew that I came out of a cult.
Yes, I did know that you
Okay.
came out of the cult. Yep.
So he was asking me questions about that, and it just feels like it's so long ago. I mean, I've been out since 2009.
Yeah,
So
that's a while ago.
yeah, and so I really have to think and kind of put myself back there, and it's kind of a trip to go back there.
Well, a scary point is when people talk about Lord of the Rings or say its 20th anniversary. It's like, no, it can't be. That was only a couple years ago. You people are full of crap. I'm like, oh, I'm so
Yeah.
old.
Yeah, I have found I found Instagram channels now that are kind of showing, or Instagram pages that are showing me like, hey, this song's like 20 years old. I'm like, great, thank you.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I'll never forget the first time I was working with somebody 18 years old and I was in my 30s. And they turned off of Do the Hustle on the radio. We were driving to a job. And I said, don't do that. That's disco. And he's like, what's disco? And I'm like, oh my God,
Oh,
it's
yeah.
happened. I'm old.
Yeah, I always tell people that when the music that they were playing at your prom is now on the oldie stations, that's when you know. That's when you know you're there. You know what I mean? Like you hit the oldie stations, you're like, oh yeah, that was on.
That's not an oldie.
Right?
That just came out last week, didn't it?
Yeah, I can't see. The chat is because of how it's set up. So it goes differently here. But I did see Bee Gees. Huge fan.
Right on.
Not afraid to say it.
If you look hopefully it's the same way in your screen as it is in mine. If you look all the way to your right and those icons there, the very last one says chat. If you click on that, it'll show you what's going on in the chat.
Oh no! There you go.
Yeah, that was Russ who said.
And we have
Oh,
Oh no!
press the wrong button, maybe.
Oh
no.
It says you're backstage. Yeah,
Did I do that?
Thank
I hope
you.
I didn't do that.
Yeah, that was me. Honestly, my hands were in my lap. I was like, I still have on the right side. I still have things to, but it goes left to right instead of up and down, which is all right. I'm getting used to it.
I guess you're using a different platform for your streams then.
Yes.
Yeah,
everything I have is training wheels. Like I'm not even joking, right? So everything I have is like I have touch screen. It's all like they've set it up so that even a Scoville can do it. You know what I mean? And it makes it a whole lot easier to deal with the technology. I took a vacation for a while, and technology moves. I mean, you look back at movies or whatever, but if you take, say, 10 years off, and you go away, and you had so I think I had a Galaxy Note 4, right? That had just come out too. Like everyone looked at it, and that was the first really big phone, right? And it didn't look big in my hands, but when you saw it like on a desk, everyone would be like, "Oh my God, what is that? A tablet?" And there was all the jokes.
Those.
And then I come out and it's like the S22. I'm like, oh wow, and nothing that. You think, even though everything is the same and the apps are there and all that, it was not like riding a bike. It was literally like,
wow,
learning from scratch. And I'm still not doing it right. Today I was trying to forward a text that I got to somebody, and I tapped out. I literally tapped out, took pictures of it with something else. Yes. Yeah, it's pretty sad stuff. I'm not a fan of technology at any level. I really am not. But it's not my strong suit.
Well, I know that you use StreamYard. because I used to see the watermark, and
Yeah.
I tried to get on StreamYard, but it just never would talk to YouTube, to my channel for some reason.
You know what? The setup of it is very difficult. Getting the two of them, but you get a permanent link. What's kind of a bummer is if you go to other platforms from there, some platforms they work with and some you don't. And the ones they don't, it's such a hassle because like I can go live like this. You know, I mean, it takes 2 seconds.
Yeah.
But if I'm leaving to go to a platform other than one that, and they have a lot of them, but like they don't like certain platforms and they make it hard. I mean, really, really hard to get anything done, and it's sort of frustrating. But other than that, it makes it Scoville proof. It really does. It kind of gets everything. And my daughter set it all up. You know, like Cedar said to me, I promise you, when I'm done, you'll just have to touch a few things and you'll be able to roll. Because in the really early days, I had Mark, right? So I had I had an engineer. I had for all intents and purposes, I had my Spanx Calhoun, except Mark was doing it from Illinois, and he's a old school YouTuber, right? Mark's got 50,000-60,000 people on his channel over on Wages World. So he was a pro. He'd been doing it a decade, and it was so easy for him. He's like, "Look, bro, all you got to do is sit down and talk." And I was like, "Oh,
that's amazing."
Yeah, right. It really is. But I was watching it take a toll on my best friend. I mean, this guy has a family. He has a very big, successful channel, and the Lifeboat goes live twice a day. And he was doing all of these things. And you know what? He'd have done it until he dropped. And I said to him, "You know what? How about if you took a couple of days off?" And we were looking at each other, and he just gave me a smile, and he's like, "Are you firing me?" I said, "Oh my God, no." I said, but the last thing in the world I want to do is kill you. And he said, maybe a couple of days. And when he came back, he said, "You know, I think I probably need maybe a week." And it's been, he's the co-captain of the Lifeboat, and he is forever. He really is. He was, Mark is just amazing. And a brother, you know, solid as hell. But it was a great thing. But all of a sudden I had to learn real quick. And he said to me, "I can walk you through all this." No one can walk me through anything. I mean, honestly, like, these are not options. They might have been 25 years ago, and it's safer over here, right? It is, honestly, you know, because it's not going to be probably 30,000, at least not today. But the decline is, you know, is getting worse, and it's part of life for everybody. You know what I mean? And I don't want anybody bumming out, because I'm not this much bummed out. Right. I've had a long time to come to grips with this. I talk about it now because it's getting to the point where I can no longer not talk about it. But I have been dealing with this for 9 years. I've known about it. And for 9 years. Yeah. So I'm changing my life up, and the people around me, I've got some great people who just, without being told how to do anything or without being asked, just thought, this guy's maybe a little Joe Biden-y. Right?
No way.
No, not to that extreme, but it's that, you know, that's where we're starting to get to. And instead of being frustrated or anything, there was just a group of people that started doing things like, you know what? Hey, Captain, I took notes on this meeting and I shot them over to you. And I was like, oh, wow. You know, and I didn't have to say anything. And it was just, there are things that people are doing. Anik Alexander is someone that sort of, without being told where I was at, kind of figured it out. And there are some other people that just sort of have stepped up to the plate and have made things easier without
I'm
without
so
the
glad.
embarrassment of saying that, you know, it is what it is. And it's why Spanx is you know, has moved down here, you know, so that we can spend a lot more time together, and to have him closer so that he can help out with this. I can sit like this forever. I really can. The beautiful thing is that my memory going back is better than anybody's. Like on earth, I will freak you out because I was born with a very different memory than other people. Unfortunately, what happened yesterday is just not really recording the way it used to. Right. So I can keep doing this if and the more people really start to understand. I saw some names of some people here that I haven't seen in a long time, because you know, they may not see me on my channel, and people who know me well, And there was a time where I thought I had a lot less lifeboat left, but the people around me have
That's great.
and yeah, and done it in such a way that I think we all know that one of my attempts was not so great.
Well, it happened to the best of us.
Well, I want to tell you something on that. Since we're here, and this seems
Yeah.
like a very appropriate place to do it, that's all me. I mean that. I made a horrific error there. And if it had worked perfectly, it was still an error. Right?
What was
It
that?
still an error.
It kind of.
I will never have someone on the lifeboat, right? Have anything to do with answering, talking to, or having anything to do with anyone else on the lifeboat. I can hire people to help with emails, providing they don't know who any of you are. They don't know who any of you are. They have never watched a lifeboat. They have zero to do with this. And ideally, they're probably not even in our country. And all it is, even better, is a bot. And we're looking into all of these things. And I'm probably going to end up with a bot that's going to crawl through all of your emails, and not to sell stuff to people. The only thing it's doing is looking for people that are really hurting versus looking for people who are saying, I love your show, right? Or if you ever get to Chicago, I might like to go out with you. I get a lot of really weird emails like that, and I love it. You know what I mean? Somebody said to me the other day, Reese flirts with me, and I have a ball. We joke. But someone said, I felt like you were victimized. I said, for the love of God. I mean, I'm not trying to make light of anything. But of this situation, people, I'm a 53-year-old guy, right? Woe is me. Right? I've got all of these. I've got a bunch of women who want to joke about the fact that I have abs. Yeah, cry a big river for me, because I'm not bummed. Like at all. I really am not. We're getting to a point where I'm having a lot more fun. You're probably seeing a lot more smiling. Yeah. I'm doing what I'm better at, and I'm getting really good. Who's that? Johnny Scoville.
Oh,
hello, Johnny Scoville.
That's a green check mark in the house. My brother's a rock star. I don't know if you know that. Oh,
I did know that.
So that's a picture of us. But usually it's his silver play button. Johnny's a straight running rock star, and he's now not only a YouTuber, but he's a reality show star. And it was great because when I was in Florida, everybody said to me, people came up and I said, we talked about Spice. We all went out to eat. And I said, yeah, I kind of dig Spice. They said, oh yeah, we've been watching your brother's channel. Like everybody I met said, oh no, I've been watching your brother on the reality show. I thought, wow, hey, look at you.
How's it going, Christy?
Good to see you.
She's had her internet disconnected, so it's been a little tricky last couple of days.
Nothing is worse.
Yes, I'm actually at my neighbor's. She let me borrow her front porch. So I'm over at my neighbor's, and we got another little. So
nice.
I got people taking stuff out of my house right now. They're supposed to, and Michael's headed down tomorrow, and we'll be out of here on Sunday. And I figured I'd better clarify so nobody thinks I'm getting robbed.
Right.
And one of the guys that's helping, he looks like the lead singer of Greta Van Fleet. He walked in the door, and I'm like, oh, you look like the lead singer of Greta Van Fleet. Oh my God. And he just laughed. He's like, I get that all the time. And I'm like, I mean, hey, that's a pretty cool compliment, right?
Yeah.
Pretty nice.
Exactly.
Yes.
So I didn't mean to interrupt.
No. Crank that violin, hon. Crank that violin. And here's the thing. I promise you I offended the person that said it. I promise you I offended the person that said it. Because I just said, with all due respect, I'm going to say what I said, because this was before my morning speech. I said, don't be a douchebag. I said, honestly, are you just looking for drama? Like, do I really look like I'm getting beat up? Because I kind of feel like you just want to create something. Yeah, honestly. But I'm having a pretty good time, people, on this entire YouTube thing. But I'm proud as hell of what goes on over here. I honestly can't put it into words.
I appreciate that.
I mean that from the bottom of my heart. And when I come over and it's, especially on some of the small ones, if I show up, I'm gonna ruin it. I don't mean
No,
that
you're
any
not
disrespect.
ever.
No,
Not possible. I'm going to
oh,
keep
no,
saying
you know
it
what? It
until I'm blue
really
in the
is.
face if I have to. Not
No, my
possible.
brother can ruin a show 5 times faster than I can. You know what I mean? Like for real. We pop up usually just in a comment section, and the longer you're doing it, the worse it gets. Like when I first started, even just because of who my brother was, like I would just like innocently wander into and be like, "Hey, how you doing?" And my name was Tommy Scoville, right? And with a picture of me and forget it, right there. No matter what anyone was talking about, the whole chat went to and it just got. So I watch a lot. I lurk on a lot of people's stuff. Keep in mind, I can't watch movies and I can't watch TV, right? No hope. Everything I watch has to be shot with one camera. Occasionally, if it's really slow, you can get like a 2-camera edit. But anything where you got 8 cameras set up, like a action movie or anything like that, I can't watch any of that. Even the news is too rugged. So the only thing I watch is YouTube. Yeah, I have a traumatic brain injury.
Yeah. Okay.
From years of skiing, and one of the worst things in the world. It's where I get my migraines, and I get them because I'm so programmed after so many years. I quit watching TV. I mean, religiously, about 9 years ago. Right, I just stopped completely. But you walk by, like, and if there's something on that, or an advertisement for something that I love or whatever, it's human nature that I will turn. And if it's one of those fast edited things, it takes about 10 seconds. I can't watch my brother's reality show.
It's on Hulu, right?
It's on Hulu. And the first 40 seconds of it, and I was over, because it's done beautifully. And the more, the more something is edited really great, the more screwed I am if I watch it. So I need stuff like this that's just no editing, because this is how your brain actually sees things. But if you think about it, when we watch a movie, you see about 1 second or 2 seconds of film, and then another angle, and then another angle, and then another angle. The next time you watch an action scene, count how many seconds it is before you're looking from a different angle. You'll never get past counting to 2. Now we would never look like that, but we've been doing it since we're 3. So our brain reassembles all of that together and makes it into something cohesive that we could never see in real life, because we don't look and see things from 50 directions. But because we are trained from birth, our brain can put it back together in something perfectly cohesive. Mine does not. Mine does not. In about 20 seconds, mine shuts down and I get a vicious migraine. So I just don't do it anymore. Yeah, I love it. I do a ton of reading. I watch a lot of YouTube, but I lurk because of the name, and it's my brother's fault, not mine. But the name, someday it'll be my fault. But right now it's really Johnny's. But I'm so proud of what you guys are doing over here. I really am. And you always have an incredible group of people. We obviously want a ton of prayers for Steve Molesky. And if you're not a prayer, just do what you do. I'm not trying to offend anybody. Just do what you do, because this is a good dude. And I'll tell you something, people. They wrote my dad off, right? Papa Scoville. I remember being out there with Johnny, and it was 2004, and the doctor said, "You guys need to go in there and say goodbye." And man, he died 20 years after that, almost 18 years after that. Like, we got a hell of a lot of good times, and we were hanging crate, man. It was over. They told us his heart was working at 7%. Like, it was just one of those days where we were like, oh shit. But I'm praying. I believe in the power of prayer. If you don't, just send some positive vibes. And now, people,
absolutely. We miss Steve.
I do too. I talked to his wife yesterday. Both of them, he wants to talk. As soon as she calls, Steve, he wants me to know things. I said, tell him to shut up, please. Like, he doesn't need to be using wind. She's like, you know what? I really wish he would. I said, tell him to stop talking. I love him. I don't want to hear him. You can tell me. You can tell me. But I am going to be going to a doctor myself. Nothing bad. This is scheduled. Okay. But I'm going to be walking out the door. I'm going to keep doing this, like kind of like
Thank
how I set
you.
it up today.
Anytime you are welcome on here, any and every time.
I want this monetized. Now, for those of
Thank
you who
you.
for some reason didn't hear my speech, and you think this is because I just want so badly for them all to drive Ferraris. Monetizing is so
Not
that
ours.
you take on a business partner, right, who now has a vested interest in you as more of a product, right? And you get taken seriously. And when you do, you start to see people from other parts of the world a lot quicker. Like I remember the biggest thing that was like throwing a light switch was people started showing up from places like, how in hell am I getting someone from the Philippines? And it was exciting. It really, really was. No, I promise you, I said back then, it's not about, if you think it's about greed, then haul, you can leave now, right? Obviously, we're not the right people for you. But if that's what you think, then you should wander over to an app called Social Blade and take a look at what you think the rich YouTubers make.
Yeah.
For real.
Yeah.
It's probably not what you think it is. But
No.
the connection stuff is real, people.
Yeah.
And you guys,
really I feel
job.
like it's not too late to lose the art of having community.
Yeah.
Social media when I was when I was in my 20s, and even up into my 30s, was meeting at a place downtown where you could get a good cup of coffee.
Yeah.
And the technology that has kind of separated us, and we've lost our manners. As long as I'm alive, I feel like it's my job to keep community alive.
Yeah, that's a great way to
not
put
lose it. Not lose it.
Do you remember the relatives that you have? I know because we're all of a certain age. We all had relatives who were the descendants of the Great Depression.
Mm-hmm.
I got no
my dad was
perspective
in
on
the
this.
Great Depression.
Right, exactly. That was my family. I have no perspective on this at all. But I watched them and I would go, for the love of God, you're driving 4 miles more to save a penny a gallon on gasoline, right? And at that time, it was like I knew what they were making, and I thought, like this doesn't make any sense to me. And of course, it can't, right? I have no perspective. People, we are the perspective on connection.
Yeah,
I kid you not, right? We are the last tie to connection in every way. I got news for you. This is going to sound awful, and I don't care. You know why? Because it's your channel and I'm going to leave soon. No, but I'm serious. Do you know that we're not having sex anymore? Think I'm kidding? Lowest birth rates in history.
I'd heard that.
And it's not just birth rates. Kids in high school aren't doing it. Now, that may be a great thing, right? There's something really wrong when high schoolers aren't trying to doink.
When high schoolers aren't,
right? No, I'm not suggesting that it's a great thing that high schoolers, but for the love of God, if they're not trying
it's not normal.
It's not normal.
It's not normal.
It's not normal.
It's not how the species was designed to be.
No.
Something has come in and interfered.
In a very big way. And part of it is social media or anti-social media. Also, look up how old the average kid is today when they get a driver's license, right? We
in their 20s.
We vibrated, right? It was like, when the birthday was coming, I was like, the night before, I'm calling people on the phone, the rotary phone. Dude, tomorrow, like it's Freedom Day tomorrow. Of course, I failed.
Yes.
3 of them. True story. Failed 3 driving tests before I passed. I did not do well.
Let me tell you my driving story. He passed me, but he literally said, honey, don't drive on the main roads. He's like, I'll give you your driver's license, but you got to take the back roads. So I learned back road it all through my hometown. And then I was like, it was years down the road before I was like, I could drive on College Avenue in Fort Collins.
see, folks, this is the difference. Seriously, this is the difference between cute, right, and this. They just went, get out, come back in 30 days, bring another $19.95, and we'll try again. And they used to make you wait 30 days. So you know what I would do?
Yeah.
Like I failed in this town, and then I went a town over, right? So I wouldn't have to wait. But I was out of towns, Like, I'm not kidding you. I was going to have to go a good 45 minutes if I failed one more. So when we got to that one, my sister took me there. I looked around and I just went, holy, right. Everything was on a hill like this. Like, they took me to this town. I'm like, there's no way I'm passing this, man. Like, I'm going to have to do hill starts, right? Like, everything. It was just all bad. And I had a clutch. And I got in the car.
Oh
And
no.
I don't know what it was about the person, but I got in and they looked over and it was an older woman. And she said, hey, relax. You look really stressed out. I'm like, there's just a lot of hills in this town. She's like, well, I'm going to take you where we can avoid most of them. And I just went, oh. And when I got the license, I was shocked. I really was. I was shocked because I'd failed so many of them. And of course, then I went out and proceeded to wreck all my parents' cars and, run into people in town, get DWIs, all the good stuff that, you want your kid to do. All right, people, if I don't get to the doctor's office, I'm going to be late.
Okay.
I will be back. I promise.
Thank you.
Sounds
Thank you
good.
for stopping in.
That's
Get
okay.
out, get
Get in the basket.
Yay!
Now, please do me a favor because I guarantee you I'm not smart enough. Could you dump me out of here? Because I don't know how to turn myself off.
Yes, I will.
I know you can.
All right.
It might take a minute. That's all right. But I know that if I'm doing it, I'll be here forever.
Well, it was awesome seeing you. Thank you so much for dropping by.
I was about to say, wait a second. Did we just get more? I'll be back.
Yeah.
We'll see you guys.
Bye.
All right. Thank you so much, everybody. Squirrel, just say
Thank
bye.
you.
I didn't check my link. Like, where's
Yeah.
the link? Sorry, that's my bad.
I
Completely.
promise
my
I'm
bad.
trying to toggle you out. Yay.
I keep
Well,
getting
how-
knocked on the door, so I'm just gonna go deal with this really quick, finally. But holy cow, that was Tommy.
Holy cow, that was Tommy. That was awesome. Sorry, I was late to the party. I literally I'm going to tell you how my day went. So the guys came to get the rest of the stuff. I had clothes on the bed, and I've got, so that you guys know, I have a 50-inch flat screen TV above my toilet in my bathroom, so that when you're in, you can watch a movie like Star Wars, which I never do, but they're taking that. So I'm like, look, you're gonna have to take the TV down, kick all the clothes off the bed. I don't even care. Just throw them on the floor, rip the stuff off, carry it. I had to put Shitty Kitty in the closet so she didn't run away or end up in the box springs. And then the buddy dogs are back in the back. And I'm like, this gotta go. If you need anything, come over, wave at me. I'm on my neighbor's porch. It's been insane.
You're getting baptism by fire into nomad life.
Oh gosh. Well, and just so that I know, I cannot see the comments. So if anything comes up and I'm talking, put your hand up and I'll stop or read them to
It's
me.
going so fast. I had to quit trying. I apologize, people.
I'm trying to watch
That's
the comments too.
I seen when I hopped on, there were 111 people watching, which by the way, I think that's a record for us. Right?
Definitely. We've never had.
I
Yeah.
saw
Yeah.
113.
Yeah.
Awesome. Oh my
We're the
gosh. Thank you guys
103.
so much for checking us out. Yes. Awesome. Awesome. So how's everybody doing?
And of course, well, Steve was supposed to be asleep, and he woke up because somebody pulled in our driveway to tell us our goats were out.
Oh,
And I'm
no.
like, our goats are not out. I already went through that earlier. So a neighbor said our goats were out, and my goats were just sitting in the shade over here, right where they were supposed to be. So I don't know whose goats are messing with stuff around here. I don't, unless my goats have learned how to teleport.
DJ
They
And
know
he's
how to
he's
teleport.
like, and he's interrupting my meeting when Tommy's here, and I'm like, oh brother,
No, I see in your face, you're like,
oh brother.
and I was like, oh, Steve, I love you. You better move along, hun. Move along.
And if it is my goats and they get run over, well, you know what? That's how I feel right now. If it truly is them, but I don't think it is mine.
Right.
I don't know
right.
whose else's goats they could be, but anyway.
That's funny.
Maybe they finally
Star
got.
Trek Goat Edition. Yes.
Maybe they finally got those tats. I was warning you about that. They're going to get tats.
Next goes the head pat.
Yeah, they're going to get tats.
Yeah, they learned to sneak out the window and all that
They're
good
go-
stuff.
they're going to become Raiders fans, the whole 9 yards.
Uh-oh. Well, how are you, Rebecca?
Christy, go ahead. I'll let you finish.
No. I got nothing.
I'm good. It's Thursday, one day closer to a weekend. I had a crazy morning, but I got an hour and a half nap. So the long COVID is good. I'm feeling a little less hopeless and helpless as I was last night. Kind of that whole being ill is a downer.
Oh yeah.
It
It is.
So
especially long COVID.
You look like you're feeling pretty good now, right?
I'm sorry?
Are you feeling good now? Because you look like you are.
I feel pretty good. Yeah, it's constant, and most of the time you guys don't know because I don't talk about it because it's unfortunately it's kind of the new reality. I'd like it to not be, and so I'm trying to be optimistic and focus on let's do the health, let's take care of yourself. Maybe there's even if we can't make it back to where I was before I got it, if I could just be 50% better. I mean, technically I'm already more than 50% better than I was when I was really sick. So, but so I'm trying to stay on it because I think that'll help me mental health and physical.
Yeah.
So, but I'm doing pretty good.
And it
was a shock to come in and Tommy's there. It's awesome. How are you? Yeah. And I'm trying to watch the comments for us. Yes, how are you? Well, all of you. I was listening before 4, but I missed the link that you sent out, and that's my bad.
I want to know how you're doing, Stasia.
You know what? I'm doing okay. I got some calls today that I've been waiting on, so things aren't finalized, but there's steps in the right direction, and those were the steps that I needed to feel like all the small calls and all the small things I could finally start standing on top of and have like bigger steps taken, I ended up at the hospital this morning for that tooth thing. And where I am, we have a lot of new viewers. So where I am is in Quebec, Canada. And the hospital waits here are incredibly long. The last time that I was at Emerge, it took 12 hours. But for some reason, and I don't say for some reason, my blood pressure was slightly elevated. I had a tiny bit of a fever, and the infection they noticed right away when looking at it. So they had me in and out in 2 hours. So it was like, oh my God, what is this? I'm actually in and out of the hospital in 2 hours and at the pharmacy. So antibiotics are in. There's a couple pills twice a day for 10 days, and then the dentist can do their thing. And they gave me some pretty heavy duty naproxen. So I'm feeling way better than yesterday.
Right on.
Yeah. So
good. I'm so glad. Wow.
And I actually had a conversation with my daughter last night and kind of gave her a pre-warning. I've talked to your school. I know I'm far away and fill people in. My daughter is in a different province than me. And the best that I can do to emotionally help her is contact her teacher, contact her school, get her involved with a counselor. She's got so much emotional stuff happening right now, and she's going to have more news this weekend. I can't handle my daughter shutting down because she's too much like me, and I'll just see what's happening and I'll see the pattern that I lived, and I want to break that pattern as much as I can.
Yeah.
So all good things. Yeah. All good things today.
Yes. Well, yes. And so when girls start to be teenagers, it's tricky anyway, that's just tough to navigate. So good job for you for saying to her, let me help you in the best way I can, because really, as parents, we want our kids to go on and be better than we were. And a good parent puts their kid in the best position to succeed. And, if that's getting them some therapy and some an additional emotional support, that's epic. Means you're
Yeah.
winning. I
Mhm.
love it.
I did a good mom move. Woohoo!
Yay!
Did a good mom dance.
Anne Hummingbird wants to know which province of Quebec. My daughter just had her first ultrasound this morning in Kamloops.
Yes. So if I'm not mistaken, Kamloops is BC. If I'm not mistaken, if I'm putting all of my Canadian geography in the right places. My daughter's in Ontario, closer to Toronto. And I'm in Quebec, closer to Montreal. So for everybody that's new, I'm just trying to figure out how much of this I can share properly.
Yeah.
I was in a very conjugally violent situation. I left. I may get a little bit emotional. I left November 7th. I'm in some sort of battle for my child that's in the province here right now. My daughter is living with her father in Ontario. She said the one thing that I needed to hear to keep me away from my last partner, and that was, "I'll disown you if you go back to him." She saw
Wow.
the 11 years of it just from a distance. And that was that final bit of strength that I needed to fully stay away. So I'm currently living in a conjugal violence shelter in Quebec. Some of the stuff that I was talking about, the little steps, getting to the bigger steps, that's, getting financial services, getting housing, doing all of that. But I don't know, if you guys go back and watch this channel, you can see me a complete and utter mess. It's Carol and Christine and everybody here that kind of helped me figure out how to reframe my mind into more positive mindset, because if I stuck in the negative, and I think this is true for many people, if you stick in the negative, nothing positive is really going to come from it.
Right.
So
That's
there's
true.
been some massive growth, and the last few days have really shown me that there's been some massive growth inside of me, and that makes me feel really, really good. But I just want you guys to know, like, you guys kind of saved me a bit. So thank you. Thank
Well,
you.
we were
love you,
glad
dear.
you could.
I'm so happy you're here. Yeah.
Oh, you can't get rid of me now.
Yay!
To clarify for
Yay.
anybody who doesn't know, doesn't mean I mean, it's not what you think of in the States, more of a DV situation. They just call it something different in Canada.
Yeah, and specifically Quebec. Specifically Quebec, they call it conjugal violence. And I'll be honest, I went through multiple different phases of it. So it's not just physical, emotional, psychological. There's a lot involved in it. I just can't share much publicly yet, so please don't be offended, y'all. But once I can, I will, because it helped me. Talking about it helped me.
Yeah.
Sandy Bowers, I am so sorry about your father-in-law.
That's difficult.
Sending out some in-law. I am so sorry.
Yeah.
Oh,
That is a tough place to be. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
Yes.
yeah.
And if there's
Oh
anything we
my
can do to
God.
help
Wow.
support, please
Yes.
let us know. If there's
Yes.
anything. Did we go over what the premise, what the whole thing behind needing a meeting is, like interactive and people can come on and share? Because there's new people.
No, we actually did not. We just jumped right in.
So do you want to share
So
how you
take
came
it
up with the name Needing a Meeting? Because I
Okay,
think that's
well,
a cool story.
if any of you are fans of the show Mom, about the recovering alcoholic mother and daughter and their dysfunctional, functional relationship in that process. And toward the end of the show, the last couple of seasons, when the daughter would be spinning out or Bonnie, the mom, would be spinning out. Either the one spinning out would catch themselves and say, I need a meeting, or the other one would catch them and say, do you need a meeting? And they would just stop right there and impromptu have a meeting, because that was their whole support group was around the meetings and all that. And so when the first time I saw that, I thought, I want that. That's what I want, and when I found the lifeboat, I just thought, wouldn't it be cool if we could, be an umbrella group under the lifeboat and have like all these people come in and everybody can share what they need to share. I can have up to 10 people on the screen here. And I forget what it was, but I was having a conversation with somebody and I just thought, you know what? I don't have to wait. I had just gotten enough view hours to go live. I'm just going to do this. Like there was one of the first few times I ever did it, I just sat there writing in my journal just to see if anybody would show up, and people showed up.
Oh yeah.
Yay.
And now you can't get rid of them.
I love it.
And
But,
and it's amazing.
we're building community. That's what, yeah.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say it's amazing because it's such a beautiful place, and we've talked about everything from DV to eating disorders. We did a whole show on eating disorders.
Yes.
I've shared stories about my
Yes.
anorexia and my struggles with that. We've talked about body image. We celebrate sobriety dates with Mama's Tiara. And so it's really beautiful. And then we always end with box breathing and a meditation to kind of like leave on a nice vibe. And so it's a really beautiful place to really connect. And we've had a lot of people come on and share their stories. And people come on and share their stories. People come on and be like, hey, so it's really beautiful. And I encourage you, if you haven't, go back and watch some of those early shows and different things, because there's so much you can get to know us better and see Stasia's amazing journey and Carol's journey. Carol went on a journey too of, questioning some things with her. Rebecca's been on a journey. Cosmic been on an amazing journey. Ben is I don't know, you're the guy in the mix with the chicks. So
Hey, he's got some good insight and some questions that make me go, I should have thought about that better.
amazing. Yeah, I always
we're
I'm like
we're anything recovery, anything that you're recovering from, we're all about it, and sometimes you just need a place to just come and just hang out. And a lot of meetings are like that. We don't always cover heavy topics. Sometimes we just, have fun, and be silly. And I think it's all good. And I think it's all needed and it's all important. It's because, you can't honestly make your whole life about recovery, even though your whole life might have been about an addiction or a disorder of some kind. Part of the ideal of recovery is to claim some sense of being part of the world, normalcy, whatever that looks like for you. And, and so, it's a little bit of everything. It's a hodgepodge, but it's worked, it's worked so far. And I've enjoyed every minute of it. I personally have, I had a mental illness in my 20s and 30s and kind of using drugs and alcohol, and mostly alcohol, to kind of self-medicate and manage my symptoms. And I got clean in California. I live in Northwest Arkansas right now. I got clean in California. I went to a Catholic Charities rehab in the shelter where I was staying. And so I decided about 7 months in that AA was not going to be a place where I was necessarily going to be able to maintain my sobriety long term. I needed something else. And so I turned to church, and I ended up in a cult after about 5 years. And I was in the cult for about 10 years. So I'm kind of in cult recovery, you know, going back and questioning some things about my sobriety. And also, I am recently recovering from shopping addiction. I have run up my credit cards, and I'm having to deal with that. And quite honestly, it's been since about mid-December since I went on a spree, and I attribute this community right here to giving me something else to focus on, because quite honestly, a lot of it was boredom. I was all about the dopamine hit. I was all about having the packages to look forward to, but it's destructive. And so we're here for anything that you want to recover from that's destructive, and just to have a place to come to.
And to be honest, this is the one time of the day where it's like before meeting is my go, you're working, you're doing what you need to for life. And then meeting is like, okay, I just chilled out a little bit from all of the anxiety and everything that I've been running through all day. And then I feel so much better by the end of it. Just the fact that we're able to talk about so many different topics. I think we all are affected by not just addiction. Or if it is just addiction, it's different levels of addiction, whether it be not levels, but types, of addiction. Like you just said, Carol, you had an addiction before and then it transferred to a different one. And I think we all have done something like that or are currently doing something like that.
I see you, Tony B. I see you. Yeah. 18 days with no cigarettes. This is my mama's tiara. She lived to be 95 years old, and on her 95th birthday, we got her this tiara and had a big to-do, and all of us wore tiaras, and she wore this for her final birthday, and she was a force. She was a force. And so you are 18 days without cigarettes. You are right now a force. That is not a small thing. I have quit smoking before. I quit
Not
many
easy.
times before I quit.
Yeah. Never quit quitting, right?
So you get Mama's tiara. He has a trophy. We have tiaras.
Yes.
A lot of my thing is I was a victim of sexual abuse when I was a young child. And the big thing that I found in my recovery is trying to tackle confidence, not isolating yourself, because and boy, this affects boys and girls both, is that you'll have two camps. Either you'll become a lot more social to the nth, or else you'll tend to be an isolator. And I fell into that camp. So that's the big thing I'm trying to recover from. Also, a huge hit to confidence, but I find confidence is not particular, or a hit to your confidence is not necessarily a hit from sexual abuse. It could be a hit to your confidence, could be from all sorts of things. There's so many people here who've had just absolute confidence problems. So
yeah.
And I find that by dealing with others, I tend to learn by talking with others. I tend to learn more about myself, because you're able to see elements of yourself reflected in other people where you tend to discount them if they're your own memories or your own experiences. But like with Carol, I was in I was also in a cult for a short time, but mine was much more like a bad date, I guess you would consider mine. I didn't last 10 years. My parents were in one for a few years, but I was on one for less than a year. So yeah, but cults
Wow.
still interest me.
And that's the first I've heard of this, I think.
Yeah, I hadn't heard it as well, and I'm so proud of you, Ben, because I just
Yeah.
want to say I don't know if you understand how much your insight has helped me through my situation and my confidence. So I'm appreciative, and it's amazing. We all help each other, and this is what always keeps amazing me. As
And
soon as more
Yeah.
stories come out, it keeps amazing me more and more.
and that's the exact thing I was going to say, is that I learned from all you people the same thing, is that yeah, I learned so much just in, I mean, okay, with you don't necessarily have to be trying to recover from addiction, but there's so many other things where you learn so much about yourself with
Mhm.
other people, and that you can
Yeah,
learn
you
how
do.
to deal with things through other people, and you all have really
Absolutely.
helped me a great deal. So
Well, I'm
I'm glad.
glad.
It's a give and take.
I've been trying to post comments, but there's such a lag for some reason that,
Okay.
the comments are moving up fast, and so if I click the one that's different, that came underneath the one I wanted to click, and then it takes 10 minutes for it to show up on the screen because there's such a lag, I apologize. I am watching the chat, and and I
There's
have wanted
one
to put your comments up there, but
there's
it
one
just
that ran
it's not
past, and I
scheduled.
just wanted to make sure we acknowledge Laura Dupree is 6 months without
Yeah.
cigarettes.
6
Yay.
months without cigarettes. Mama's tiara.
Yes.
That's amazing. That's
Yep.
amazing, and I bet you're feeling really good.
Yes.
And
That's gold
sometimes
for
it can
me.
take a while to get there, but congratulations on 6 months.
Yes. And I noticed
Wonderful.
Ben changed his name again.
Did he really? I just
It's now Ben or
oh,
me.
that's just my title on this screen. But yeah, I have to poke on Lord Kithfreak every chance I get, because yeah, he's trying to kill me. He knows I can't say no to a challenge, so every time he tells me to have another peanut, yeah.
Well, that was an entertaining stream when you were eating those.
And I haven't been here as long as everybody else on the screen has been here longer. I was born and raised in a cult. Single, live on my own, never been married. Have lots of trauma and stuff from how I was raised. Sometimes deal with depression and anxiety. Well, not sometimes. I do deal with it. Therapy every Monday morning. Love it. So, and I want to help whomever needs it, and make sure people know that they're cared about, they're loved, they're worthy. And part of that is to make sure that to help myself, because I struggle with feeling whether I'm worthy or not. So
Yeah.
I just want people to know they're loved and cared about.
You do such a good job reaching out and asking people how can we help you? How can we support you? You're always so positive when you come on. So
Yeah, you are.
it's
Try.
very appreciated.
Because I love people. and I
Right
do.
on.
I do believe what my purpose in this life is to try to leave it a better place than it was when I found it. So if that means just providing a support and a smile for someone, great. If that means more than that, great. It's just, yeah, I just don't want people to feel alone, because I felt
That's
alone.
right. And that's a big thing here is the goal here is that nobody feels alone.
Yes.
And along that road, I just want to tell Rebecca that you are loved, you are seen,
Yes,
you are worthy.
Yes, you are.
I know it's hard to feel these things when you're working through it, because I still struggle with it, but I just wanted you to hear it.
Thank you.
And it's important to hear it,
Oh my goodness, yes.
Yeah.
For a while, external validation helps, and then you just have to figure out how to do it for yourself. And it's a slow process, and don't I know it?
Right.
It just feels like it crawls. Like, I just wish it was faster. And that's just me being impatient, wishing that everything was perfect now instead of having to do the work. The work is hard.
Right?
Work
It
is
is.
hard.
It is hard. It's
Oh,
not
man.
but the growth, and especially if, and, I'm a huge go back and you look at it is so positive. And I really encourage everybody to get a gratitude journal and don't just write down all of the icky stuff. Write down the stuff that goes right in your life. Hey, I'm 5 days sober, 5 days clean, or I helped a friend today, or I just felt really good. And if you write it in a special gratitude journal, then when you're feeling not so great about yourself, you can go back and read things that you wrote about yourself um,
Yeah.
on those days. So,
And that's actually been so helpful for me to be able to go back. And yes, it's only been, a few months, 4 months, but to be able to go back over the 4 months and be like, look at the things I was grateful for and look how they grew into things that I actually believe.
right.
That's been a cool process because yes, when you start, it's hard for you to, well, at least for me, I can't speak for everybody, but for me, it's like, yeah, I'm grateful for this. And I was like, was I really grateful for that at that time? Did I understand what it was to be grateful yet? But it's interesting to watch the progress and to see how you grow yourself, to go back and look through it.
Yeah, that's true.
Right.
And coming on here is also a good thing to do every once in a while if you come on screen. Yeah. And even just watching the chat. Matrix, Matrix Rabbit 0157 says, I am alone all the time. I come on here to help others. I'm a lost cause most days. I know it can feel like that, but if you're coming on here to help others, I would not call that a lost cause.
No.
There's some hope there. So don't count yourself out.
Yeah, exactly. And it's so easy to minimize ourselves. It is so easy to minimize ourselves, and people see us in a much bigger, more better light than we see ourselves. So that's, what, sometimes that external validation that's given, like I said earlier, it helps. Just listen to it. At least it's helped me.
Right on.
It helps
Helps
me
me
too.
too.
I need
You guys
I need
totally
to
helped.
hear it from somebody outside of myself because I can try to tell myself, but some days it's really hard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if there's something about it coming from somebody else that matters, and
Yeah.
I wish it didn't matter as much as it did, because then it would feel like it's coming from within, but it still matters a lot.
Well, because when you
Yeah.
see it from other people, then you're like, oh, if this person believes this, then it must be true. And then you start to believe it.
Right.
And I just wanted to say where Matrix Rabbit 0157 says, remember to have fun. There are all kinds of stupid Christie stories that you will just roll on the ground howling, laughing at. So we have fun and we tell stories on ourselves, and I do the dumbest things. So yeah.
Dirty Mouse, I'm so happy you're here. Thank you for stopping by. And I understand what you're saying about the overstimulation. And welcome. Welcome all you guys. New faces, new people, new perspectives. I love it. I love it.
Yeah. Well, and since everybody has shared their story, I'll share mine. So Tommy did an interview with me on his channel. I think it was Tommy Talks to Queen of the Normies or something like that. So go back and take a listen to that if you haven't. My story is I struggled with anorexia for 30 years. It started when I was about 12 years old. Didn't get done till I was in my late 30s. At my lowest point, I weighed 89 pounds. And it was the only way I had to control things in my life. I was in a not great marriage and left. and went through a lot of therapy. I was misdiagnosed as bipolar, so I was on medication that I did not need for something I did not have for about 5 years. Had to get off of that. I lost my dad to cancer in that process and really fell apart. I mean, mentally just completely, um I mean, I was broken and I had to rebuild myself. And so the cool thing was I got to rebuild myself how I wanted to. So I picked out all of the things that I wanted
Yeah.
to be. I started telling myself that I was that person and living to be that person. And I still struggle. I don't struggle with the eating disorder as much as I did before, but I do have times where when I get really stressed and I feel like things are out of control, that I really have to watch myself. And I had an instance like that not too long ago, where I
Mhm.
gained some weight, um, because I kind of went the other way with it, and I needed to lose about 20 pounds, and I got there, but then I was stressed out and just wanted a few more pounds. Like, the scale is super triggering to me, and I was actually
Mm.
thinking of going and taking laxatives, and like I was thinking I could just not eat for a few days. I could do this to, and it for me was really serious to be standing in the aisle of Walmart looking at those things, going, I could do this and I could lose 3 pounds pretty easy. And so I came on here and I told everybody. And for a long time, I felt like I didn't belong because I don't have an alcohol or drug addiction. And I just kind of thought, I'm not, I don't know that I really fit. And then I realized that I really did fit. And when we did our show on body image, and we really talked about eating disorders and things like that, it made me
Mhm.
realize that there were a lot of people who struggled with it. And there's a lot of shame and hiding and things that go around in that. And when I was at my worst, I was married, and I had 3 small children, and I wanted to unalive myself, and
Mm.
it was really bad. So I spent a lot of money on therapy, and then found an amazing therapist, got off the medication that I didn't need, and was able to, kind of um, come out the other side more positive. I love DBT. I'm constantly talking about DBT training, because it helped me so much to just become a better person and a better mom. And yeah, so I'm sorry if I kind of freeze or whatever. I've got the people next door who are taking stuff out messaging me as well. So I let me hop off of here, but I'll catch back up with you here in a second. I'm just gonna shut off my screen.
Okay.
I was going to say, I don't know if it was mentioned, but anybody who's here, feel free to share as much or as little as you're comfortable with.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
we're just happy you're here, and we're happy to help in any way we can, and we want to support you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
am always still partial
Can
to Christy's cheese story, though.
Oh, it's my favorite. It's my favorite.
Yeah.
Our angry little hobbit chucking cheese. Like it's. I suggest everybody goes back. I'm pretty sure it was even told 2 weeks ago. It's been told a few times, but it's a very fun story.
It is a very fun
Maybe
story.
if she comes back,
Maybe when she
Maybe
comes back, yeah.
we can have her tell it again. I
Yeah.
never stop laughing from that story.
Oh,
But there's a lot of
my
us
goodness.
that are from that. I actually too am an abuser, a child abuse survivor from an older brother, a brother 11 years older, a great big hay hauling farm big brother, and I was a little bitty kid, and he used to knock me around, and he used to, just scream at me and say the most awful things, and then he could just act like he was just so proud of himself, and like nothing ever happened, and I'm sitting there devastated.
Mhm.
So you do fit, and I'm happy every time I see you, Huck. Just broken from child abuse that caused. Okay, I don't know what an ED is, but
eating disorder,
Yeah.
maybe.
Oh, okay. That makes sense. An eating disorder. Yeah. But there are a few of us coming out of that situation.
Yeah.
Right here,
And
even on
every
the
single
screen.
time that you
Here on
guys
the
start
screen is
talking about your cult experience,
Yeah.
yeah.
Go ahead.
And every time that you guys start
Sorry.
talking about your cult experiences, it's, to me, I've never been in any cult, but cults just sound like an abusive partner, a manipulative partner. Like it, I feel like more of us can actually relate with what happens emotionally, mentally, psychologically to an individual who's come out of a cult than we realize. And I honestly didn't know that before meeting you guys. I had no idea.
And that is exactly, they do a lot of the same behaviors, love bombing, and then gaslighting,
Yeah.
the whole 9 yards. Yeah, you are dead
Yeah.
on.
Part of why
Mhm.
I am so interested in them, and so I'll watch people's stories on YouTube, etc., is I don't want to ever risk having that happen again, because I was
Yeah.
raised this way. So I know the kind of the core things you're used to doing is cult related, and I'm used to that being okay, and I don't wish to perpetuate that.
Yeah.
So,
Right.
Yep.
Yeah. And I think that this is like between here and the boat, but I spend more time here, and it's nothing against the boats, just the time that I'm able to put aside in the day. I do my best to catch the boat when I can, but it's just a lot of understanding and being able to get individuals understanding back. I think that that's what heals us a little bit. I think that that's what makes us a little bit better and a little bit stronger. And just a community helps, connection helps, especially for an individual like me in a province where I literally don't speak the language. It's been a godsend, for lack of a better term. I don't know how else to call it, but it's definitely been a saving factor for me.
You know, I want to share with Rev Rashim Hall Stewart. At times it gets very frustrating and feelings of sadness knowing that I'm single and lonely and don't really know anyone that wants to go on a date with me. I was in that situation. Well, I was one of the lonelier times of my life is when I was in a marriage with a covert narcissist who made me feel like a piece of garbage and feel so alone and had so isolated me from everybody. And also when I was in California for about 16 years, there was nobody there that I knew. I left everybody that I'd ever known, and I was very lonely, and I let myself in for some doozies of some bad situations with online dating and things like that, just because I was so desperately lonely. And I'm sorry you're going through that. I really am. But I hope that that you find at least a little bit of connection and that it helps. It's not going to take the place of wanting to have someone in your life, but you know, at least maybe if you can just have some relief from feeling alone, maybe it'll help. You know, and if not here, the lifeboat or somewhere, you know, where it's about connecting.
Oh yeah. These are some of my best friends now, people.
Henny says, I am a survivor of child abuse. It's been a long journey, but this support group helps greatly. I'm so glad, Henny. It's helped me too.
Yes, we do.
Yes, we do. We do love Henny. I have autism, Rev.
Henny was someone who came on and shared her story and shared in the chat, and it was really amazing. I did not understand, you know, I didn't really know what Henny had experienced, and I'm so thankful that you're here. You know, I really, really am.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, Dave.
And
Go ahead.
I was going to say, I'm constantly impressed by how wonderful, kind, and loving Henny is with everything that you've been through.
Yeah.
It's just
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
you're an amazing human being.
Yes, you are, Henny.
Absolutely amazing.
We love you.
Yeah.
You know,
Me too.
Davey, one of the sayings that had the most impact on me, we were talking about short sayings that seem to have a big impact, that they're a big aha moment. And one of the ones for her was, you shouldn't have growing up, or you should not have nightmares about growing up. And we were talking about what a powerful statement that is, and how much that can cause you to start really questioning things. With me, one of the big ones has been everybody wears a mask, but we all pretend we're not, and that we're all victims to some extent of childhood suffering and reward. So
Yeah. No, and it's the truth. And I didn't realize I was even wearing a mask for a long time. Like, it wasn't even that I wasn't
Right.
saying, I'm not wearing a mask. Instead of like, it wasn't even that. I didn't realize I was wearing a mask.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And that's an interesting
And that's what makes it a
realization when
mask.
that hit. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's the whole thing. It's why it's a mask, because you don't know you're wearing it.
Mhm.
Even if everyone around you can see, you
Well,
can't see it for yourself until you can. You know?
and to some extent, they're actually needed, because you don't want to go out necessarily in public and be completely transparent. That would be a little unsafe.
Well, I still wear mine for, people that I don't so much know. Here is the place that I can say I've completely taken it down.
Yeah.
But, if I'm just out in public and I'm shopping, I'm definitely wearing a mask. I'll be honest, I'm still wearing that mask when I'm out. But the places where I feel safe, I've made the conscious decision to say, no,
Yeah.
I'm not even letting it creep back down.
Sure.
This is who I am. This is how I'm going to be. And I can trust this space. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to fully trust them.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
The chat is moving so quick
Rebecca
tonight.
says,
Wow.
yeah, it is. It's like I'll try to click something and I'll click the wrong thing trying to click what already went five rows up.
Yeah.
Right.
And then it takes 10 minutes for it to actually show up after I've clicked it. We are all broken in some way. Please remember you are loved and cared about, Huck.
Mm-hmm.
And we are.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how anybody gets through this life, not being broken in some way. God bless the people who manage it.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I sure as heck ain't one of them.
Yeah.
One of the things that came up was we were talking about your cheese, the Hobbit cheese story.
Would you do us the honor of telling us the Hobbit cheese story?
The Hobbit cheese story? Well, if you want, I can share the Hobbit cheese story, and then we can do some box breathing and meditation. Or I can share the Hobbit cheese story, and then I do have to hop off because I've got to go. The guy that's moving's got a bunch of questions, and I can't just keep toggling on and off. So you guys tell me what you want to do, but I'll share the Hobbit cheese story.
How's everybody feeling? Okay, I always backwards the numbers, so this is better for Carol to say this.
Okay. When we've had usually we try to keep it within an hour and a half, somewhere in there. And I try to remember to ask. I've noticed that sometimes I don't, but put it, when we're kind of winding down, I'll say, does everybody feel like they've had a meeting? If so, put a 3, which, if you think about it, 3 is part of a heart. And if you're needing a meeting, put a 2 in the chat. 2 as in, I need to be crude, but it's a way to help remember. 2, if you still need a meeting. 3, if you had a meeting. And so we ask people to kind of let us know, if they're good and they feel like they've been to a meeting, and if not, we'll see what we can do.
Well, I'll share the Hobbit cheese story while everybody's doing that, and then you guys can let me know if we're going to do box breathing and meditation or if I'm just going to hop off. So, I am very, very short. And my husband, when I am really starting to get out of line, because all couples have that thing where you say to each other, he's like, your hobbit rage is showing. And so that's kind of where hobbit rage comes from and why this is the hobbit cheese story. Okay, a little bit of background. So my husband had come home from being on the road. Now, before I'm getting ready to go on the road with him now, so I'll be with him all the time. But before, I would only see him, over the course of a year for about a week at a time, and it wasn't just like 1 week. It was a few days here and there. So this one time he was home, and we had all of this stuff in this back room, and I was really, really, really mad at him, and we were just fussing at each other and poking at each other, and I got so mad at him, and I looked at him and I'm like, get out of my house, go work on your car, go do something, get out. And he's like, your hobbit is showing, and I'm like, yes, it is. I'm like, get out now, go away. And now it's really important to note that I live about 40 minutes from town. And so I had not been to the grocery store. So we were very limited on food. Okay. So I'm mad. And I'm just looking at him with these eyes that are like, you are fixing to meet your maker. You better go outside. Well, he leaves and he goes into the kitchen and he opens the refrigerator door and he's like, I'm hungry. I want a sandwich. Do we have any lunch meat? Do we have anything? And I was like, you have got to be like the dumbest man on the face of the planet right now. So I walk in and I like shove him out of the way. And my husband's like 6'2", and I'm like not even 5 foot tall. And so I start grabbing all of the lunch meat and I'm like slamming it into his chest. And I'm like, here's ham, here's turkey, here's, whatever, here's the bread. And so he leaves and he walks over to the other side of the kitchen and he's standing by the stove and he looks at me. Oh, God bless America, this man. He goes, do we have any cheese? And the look on my face must have tipped him off that was just one question way too far. And I go, we have cheese. And he goes, well, I'm like, do you want the cheese? And he goes, well, what are you going to do? Throw it at me? And I'm like, yes, I am. And it was block cheese. So and I'm like throwing it at him and it's like hitting him in the chest, and slinging off his arms. And I'm just throwing all of the cheese at him. And so I'm like, here's some Gouda, here's some cheddar, here's I was so mad. And I had to turn around and leave because I was like, I'm really thinking that I might look good in orange right now and I could run a women's gang in prison. So it really was not a good spot for me. So then he makes this sandwich and he eats it and he goes and sits down. And then a little bit later, he looked at me and he goes, honey, will you make me a cup of coffee? And I thought, you have got, oh my, did your brain leave the building? Did this pull in Elvis? What's going on? And so I'm like, fine, I'll make a cup of coffee. And so I'm in there making the coffee. And the whole time I'm like, oh, he's brave. So I go back and I had to set it down on the coffee table so that, I wasn't tempted to dump it on him. And he took a drink and he looked at me and he goes, well, do you know what this is missing? And I thought, oh my, you really want to die. You really don't want to make it through this day. And he looked at me and he goes, a kiss. He goes, it's missing sugar. Can I have a kiss? He's like, I'm so sorry. I should have not behaved that way. So it ended okay, but it was really and y'all, I was throwing it at him, straight up. I was trying to hurt the man with chunk cheese. Not my most glorious moment. Okay. I definitely, when I'm triggered, I fight, obviously. So, yeah.
So the angry little hobbit cheese story, and I'm so happy that you said it. I don't know what it is about this story that I love so much.
Could you imagine a tiny little person throwing chunk cheese at their 6'2", 225 husband who's just like,
yeah, exactly. That's probably the exact image in my head. Yeah. Oh my goodness.
Did we want to do some box breathing and a meditation, or is everybody still wanting to go and I can hop off? It's whatever you guys, wherever you are.
We got a lot of threes. How's everybody here on the screen feeling about things?
I'm good.
I'm good as well.
I'm good. Just trying to keep up on the chat, and I apologize if I miss somebody. Please,
Yeah.
we love you. We want to support you.
Yes.
Do we have a wrench in here who can maybe drop the Facebook page link so that people can also ask for
Misha
help
just
there?
did.
Perfect.
Misha just did that. Yeah.
Thank you, Misha.
Thank you.
All right.
Sorry, my chat must be laggy.
Well, we usually
Well, we
end
could do some box breathing. Yeah.
Did you want to do a meditation too, or just some box breathing?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay. So we usually end the meeting with box breathing and a meditation. So I'll go over it for you guys. So we're all on the same page with the box breathing. What we're going to do is breathe in through our nose for a count of 4. Hold for a count of 4, and then you're going to exhale completely with the sigh at the end until all of the air is out of your lungs. If you want to, as you breathe in a positive thought, a personal mantra, if you've got one of those. And as you exhale, anything that feels heavy or not fun for you, just kind of, exhale that out into the world. And then we'll do a little meditation. And when we're done, I will say, whenever you're ready, open your eyes. So let's go ahead and get started. So go ahead and close your eyes and get loose. Shake it out a little bit. Roll your shoulders. And just kind of relax. Go ahead and close your eyes. And drop into your heart space. Whether that's putting your hand on your heart or envisioning a small version of yourself going into your heart center and setting in all of the love. We're going to do 3 box breathing, and I'll count them down for you. Go ahead and breathe in. Hold. And exhale. Go ahead and breathe in. Hold. And exhale. Last one, breathe in. And exhale. I want you to imagine that you are in a beautiful field full of green grass, beautiful wildflowers, surrounded by mountains, and a beautiful blue sky. I want you to imagine birds flying overhead. And you see a bench in this beautiful meadow. And you walk over to the bench and you sit down. And you're looking around you thinking of how beautiful everything is. But there's something that's bothering you. It's kind of sticking. And you just wish you had someone to share it with. And you look over on the bench, and there is your favorite person that you love very much. Doesn't matter if this person has passed on or not. You imagine this person sitting there next to you. And you look at them and they look at you. And you wrap each other in a warm embrace. And I want you to take a few minutes and just imagine what it would feel like to tell this person what's bothering you. As you put your head on their shoulder, you feel their tight hug around you. Maybe you cry a little bit on their shoulder. Now that you're done, I want you to imagine looking up and looking into their eyes. And they gently smile. And I want you to imagine what they would say to you in this moment. I love you. You're doing a good job. I'm proud of you. This too shall pass. Take a moment to imagine them saying something of encouragement and value to you right now. Then they put their hands on your knee, pat your knee. They smile at you and say, I love you. You're doing wonderful. Keep fighting the fight and never give up on yourself. And then they're gone. And as you look up into the distance, you see each and every one of us, and we're waving to you. And we're motioning you for you to come and join us. So you get up and you join us, and each one of us gives you a big hug. And I want you to take a moment and imagine receiving all of the love from everybody in this chat and group, putting it into your heart and allowing it to fill your soul and your heart. And now we all hold hands and we turn and we face the sunset, knowing that we are not alone, we are connected, and that there's always a place where you're invited and you're welcomed. And when you are ready, open your eyes. And I'm sorry you guys were like looking at my neck. I didn't know that.
We were. My eyes were closed.
My eyes were closed. And I'm having like a tear like blurriness now because you get me every time. So
A little bit crying going on. I agree.
Well, I am going to go ahead and hop off. I'm going to end with a huzzah, and I will see you all. It will probably be a couple of days before I'll be back, but I will see you as soon as I can from Baltimore. You guys take care.
miss you and best of luck with all of that right now.
Thank you.
Yes.
Much love.
Before
Much
we all
love.
start saying goodnight, we often forget to say, please hit the like button, please hit subscribe, the notifications. Guys, everybody here tonight, if you can hit that for us, that'd be wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah.
Yes, Grace
You guys are awesome.
Twinkle Toe says that made me cry. I get to
me
cry
too.
all the time.
Yeah, it made me cry too. I thought it was the person that I thought of. I realized that, when she said, let them know what's bothering you. What was bothering me is I missed them, that person in that moment,
Hugs through camera.
Yeah.
I've got a house meeting here tonight, so I'm going to pop off, but I love you guys. And I'll be back tomorrow.
Yay.
Good night.
Good night. Misha says, have news real quick, y'all. I have taken control of my social media in a sense. I feel better already, even though I am cheating. Obviously, I got a video up in my interview with the news. Misha, that's big. All of it. I love you so much. I'm glad you're seeing some positive things.
Absolutely.
It's about damn time.
Yes.
Love to you guys. Thank you for you guys for being here, and you guys are always faithful. Ben old faithful and Neo faithful and Rebecca old faithful.
I'm trying to think of a really gross booger joke, and I got nothing for you. Got it 7th when I need them. Oh well. Oh, I didn't work on my game. I do hope
Sandy.
hope everybody has a great, awesome day, and I hope everybody's recovery from whatever it may be still goes along good. And if you stumble, it's just a stumble, and you can always.
It's a day-to-day thing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And each day is a new day to start over, And
great to see you, Ben.
Today's a good day to start over. It's never too late to quit, whatever it is that's destructive.
Yeah. Take care, all.
Good night.
You too.
Good night, Carol. Much
Good
love
night,
to you. Take care.
Rebecca. Much love to you. I feel like I have new family. Thank you guys so much for being here. I mean, you just fit right in. It's like you've always been here. I love it. I love it so much. I appreciate each and every one of you. You guys are amazing. And hopefully we'll see you again in the next meeting. And until then, peace, y'all.